Hi everyone, welcome to The Smart Student. My name is Chelsea Seaburn. In today's video, I want to set the record straight because there seems to be a bit of confusion. Tell me, have you ever found yourself asking, what is the difference between an abstract and an introduction? What actually goes in each one? Are they the same thing? Honestly, unless you've spent the time to learn what the differences are, these are common confusions that many students have. So let's talk about this. So you fully understand the difference between an abstract and an introduction. I'm going to break them down into three parts: purpose, content, and formatting. To kick this thing off, let's go ahead and start with the purpose. So the abstract and the introduction are located at the beginning of your research papers, yet they hold different purposes. I mean, you have to, right? Otherwise, what would be the point? And that's actually a great point, is to ask yourself, what is the point of my abstract and what is the point of my introduction? Now, the nutshell version is that the point or the purpose of your abstract is to summarize, and the point or purpose of your introduction is to introduce. Let's start with the abstract because it is technically the first piece of content in your research paper. It is located immediately after the title page. And like I said, the point is to summarize. So a good abstract should summarize the research in your paper and the conclusions that you came to in your research, either what you proved or what you disproved. As a rule of thumb, a reader should be able to read your abstract and have a good understanding of what's in your paper. Now, moving on to the introduction, which follows immediately after your abstract, making it the first technical section in your paper. It should provide direction and context that's going to give your reader the basic understanding they need in order to understand your research as they're reading your paper. Now that we've cleared up that the purposes of an introduction and an abstract are different, I like to say that your abstract is not a reiteration of your introduction, and your introduction is not a reiteration of your abstract. It's important to remember this, especially as we start to talk about what actually goes into each one, aka the content they're made up of. By the way, if you're enjoying this video so far, or at least you're learning something, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Your guys' support means everything to me. It's what allows me to make these videos like this. All right, let's talk content. And let's go ahead and start with the abstract. So you know you're supposed to summarize. Yet this is still rough to do because it requires you to take your big long research paper and condense it down into one small section. So let me simplify this for you. Personally, I like to break the abstract down into 4 easily digestible sections. You have your main objective, your methods, your results, and your conclusion. So taking the objective first, the objective is the purpose of your paper. So this is where you tell the reader what the goal of your research is, either what question you intend to answer or what problem you intend to prove or disprove. The methods section is the how of your paper. So what were the different study tactics and techniques that you used to tackle your objective? And this should lead you right into your results, which is a brief description of your findings. Last is your conclusion, and your conclusion is simply the main implications of your results. This is where you'll go ahead and state the main implications that your research has either proven or disproven. As a rule of thumb, I like to remind people that your abstract is not a place to tell the reader what you intend to study. Go ahead and tell them what you found in your studies. Let's go ahead and move on to the introduction. And now you already know that the introduction is a place that you introduce your reader to the whole of your paper, and you know that it's different from the abstract. Awesome. That's still fairly ambiguous, so let's add some clarity here. A good introduction should include detailed background information on your research, and it can be broken down into 3 sections. You have the what, the why, and the how. So starting with the what is what you're studying. This is where you go ahead and include that background information so the reader understands what you're researching. In the next, you have the why. And the why is what you're studying or researching important? Why should the reader care about what you're studying? Why should what you're studying matter to the reader? And in the last section, you have the how. And this is where you explain how what you're studying has been studied before. The reason the how is important is because it will give your reader a baseline understanding of how your topic has been studied before. So where previous research stopped, stops and your research starts. A little pro tip here is some things you can use to spice up your intro are facts, figures, rationales. You can add in any quotes or statistics that again will help your reader gain that full, well-rounded, best understanding they need to take with them as they read your paper. An important difference that I would like to note right here is that notice how the introduction does not contain any results or conclusions, not like the abstract does. In your introduction, you should just introduce. This is not the place where you do any analyzing, determining, or concluding. So at this point, you now know the difference between their purposes and the content that they're each made up of. Let's talk formatting. All right, starting with the abstract, it is by far the most regulated between the two. When it comes to the length, an abstract under APA 7th edition should be no more than 250 words, and you have two options to format it, either the paragraph formatting or the structured formatting. Now, the one and only difference between paragraph and structured is that structured uses labels to identify those 4 different elements, whereas paragraph formatting does not. Now, I have 2 other formatting differences to note about the difference between an abstract and an introduction, and it's that abstracts should use primarily past tense language because it's summarizing research that has already been done. And lastly, an abstract should not technically contain any in-text citations because it should be summarizing your own original thoughts and research. This is not the place that you add in the background information or facts and figures that somebody else stated in their research. Now, on the other hand, introductions, like I said, are by far less regulated than abstracts. So there's no technical length requirement for an introduction. For me personally, I like to say that a good introduction contains anywhere between 4 paragraphs to a page to maybe a page and a half of content. Unlike the abstract, you'll want to use present tense language to set the stage. Because in your introduction, you're not telling the reader what you're going to do or what you've already done, you're telling them what you're doing. And the last thing to note about the differences between the formatting is that in your introduction, it's very common to use those facts and figures and those statistics to spruce it up. Therefore, in-text citations are okay to include in your introduction. Matter of fact, I would say most introductions should be including citations because you're introducing the reader using that background information that usually requires a citation. So I actually think TV shows do a great job of representing the difference between an abstract and an introduction. Let's take a show, say The Mandalorian. If you're a Star Wars fan, you probably finished it last weekend like I did. Matter of fact, if you did watch it, let me know what you thought of season 2 in the comment section below. Anyways, let's take that show, The Mandalorian. At the start of each episode is a recap, and that recap is a brief 1 to 2 minute video clip that summarizes the previous episode. Now, if you missed that episode, you could watch that recap and continue on and watch the current week's episode. Why? Because in those 1 to 2 minutes, that recap summarizes all the main plot points and the conclusions that those plot points came to. In other words, it gives you the gist of the previous episode. That recap is your abstract. Yes, the recap technically summarizes the previous episode, so instead of a recap, let's call your abstract the pre-cap. It is the precursor summary to your paper. So in other words, if the reader read your abstract, they would take away all the main plot points, or in this case, the main ideas of your research and the conclusions that your research came to. Now, with a TV show, what comes after that recap? Well, the introduction. And the introduction is usually about a 5 to 7 minute clip that always plays before the main theme song. And during those 5 to 7 minutes, viewers are introduced to the setting of the episode, all of the relevant characters in that episode, maybe any new characters that have to be introduced, you know, what the problem is or what the main goals that the characters are going to be working to achieve. Does this sound familiar? The introduction of a TV show, just like your paper, gives you enough detailed background information and context that you, the viewer, need to take with you so you understand what's going on later in the episode. If you'll notice, the recap is a brief summary and the introduction is longer than that recap, and it gives that detailed background information. So anytime you're writing a research paper and you're confused in the future, just remember, Abstract is like the recap, and the introduction is, well, like the introduction. Anyways, I hope that helped clear up some of the confusion about the differences between an abstract and an introduction. If you're still here right now, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to join the Smart Student Facebook group on your way out. It's a great place for community and connection right now, especially if you're an online college student. Anyways, go ahead and give this video that big thumbs up, share it with your friends, and of course, subscribe for more videos like this all week if you're not already. Thanks, guys.